jumped in the dance. Right, jump. Right, hey, evening Liam, how you doing? I forget to send the paper. Go off to do that way. Yeah man, what vibes? Good to see you on. Okay, so we need January paper. Yeah, so we worked the most recent May papers, 2021 on Thursday, 2022 on Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sorry, right. From 2021 to 2024, that's what we did. Right, so now we're going to work on January papers from 2022 to 2025. ACPO. Evening, how you doing? Right. So let me just take the roll and see who's here, who's not here. Shall I begin? Alright, so Jalen is here. Khalifa here.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Tish.
No.
Okay.
She finished it again.
Alright, so we're gonna start soon.
Come on, people, I'm supposed to be free.
Yeah, I'll put that up for now. Yeah man, Scipio. One thing at a time, yeah, it's trying to be good. Some challenges here and there, but that's nice. Yeah, that figure it out, yeah. That's it, yeah. Where's Jaziri? Right. Hey Jaziri, how you doing?
Doing good, sir, doing good.
Alright, good. Yeah. No, we don't know going to start it, so you didn't miss anything. Alright. You ready? Oh. No. Not yet. Alright guys, are you ready? Oh, you want that pencil? No, I want it. Alright, you ready? Is it Dahlia or Delia? Delia. No, you can't. This is the paper one math, so yeah, you can't use calculator in the paper one math, right? Add math, yeah, that's tomorrow. I did that live video. Okay, yeah, so let's go. What percentage of 40 is 8? So what we gotta do, whoops, we gotta first of all change that to our number point, right? So we put 8 over 40 and multiply by 100. Sorry, is that in your York? No. Right, so 8 into 8, 8 into 40 was 5, and then 5 into 100 was 20, so we have 20%. So you can check inside there. I've seen a couple of mechanical ones. See where you're handy. Oh, I forgot to open something. Sorry guys, just give me a minute. How many papers did this one? That's how much I have time for Adana. I would like to do more, but time and energy here. We're running a bit low on both of them. But you know, you make do what you have. Chocho, if rain falling, no, why? You hearing static or what? Or you're not hearing me that well? I just trying to get my YouTube comment section open so I could hear what I'm asking. Alright, here's Marcus, right. Oops. Hey, evening Marcus, how you doing? Right, we now start. We're not going to do question 2, so you didn't miss much. Right, question 1 was a repeat. Are you doing any more live before Friday? Yeah, Adana, every day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, half 6 to half 8. If I can't do any more, I'll let you guys know. But you know, if you follow the channel, you turn on notifications, you can see on a button. Alright. So the number that written correct is 3 decimal places is okay. So 3 decimal places means 1, 2, 3 after the decimal point to the right of it, I should say. Alright? So 1, 2, 3. Now we have to watch this number here, which is a 6, which is 5 or higher, right? This is 2022 January, Jan 2022. Hi Lexi, how you doing? Yeah. So that means you have to round up that 0 by 1. So this will be actually 3.141. So the first two answers are B boy. What else feel eh? When the first 2, 3 or 4 answers the same letter, let's get a little suspect. Yeah. Alright. Right, and those are my Google Meet people, so which is you, Liam and Marcus. You guys there's a copy of this paper in your WhatsApp chat. You could always download it and open a different browser, PDF reader. You could work ahead, you could work with us, up to you. Just make sure and ask your questions and answer mine. Alright, so this one is a similar one to some we saw in the May papers. So 4.3 by 0.37 is 1.591. So 0.43 by 370. Okay, so to get from 4.3 to 0.43, this decimal point moves one space to the left. But then to go from 3.37 to 370, you have to go 3 spaces to the right. So if you go 1 space to the left, but then 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right, it nets off at moving the decimal point 2 spaces to the right. So this will be, so you're going the answer, the 1.591, and you shift that decimal point 2 spaces to the right, and as such we get 159.1. Sorry, let me just check this message real quick. I don't know if I'm doing something. I'll get back to him. As a whole minute long. My favorite TikToker. Thanks for the compliment. I thought it would be. Yeah, I know. But if you check the shifts. Alright. The first 3 common multiples of 3, 4, and 6. Well, right away we could eliminate A and B. And we could also eliminate C because 8 is not a multiple of 3 or 6. Right? 6 and 12 could go for 3 and 4, right? So the obvious answer here is D. Right? If you're not sure, you can always write out the times tables, right? So the 3 times tables, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 bar. Then when you have 4, right, you have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. And then for 6, you have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. And as we can see, 12, 24, and 36. Right? The other way you could do it, I think, is using the prime factors. So 3 is 1 by 3. 4 is 2 by 2. And 6 is 2 by 3. No, this is the LCM. So I think it will just give us 12. But yeah, okay, so sorry, so forget that. That doesn't make sense. Alright. It was your birthday last week. Happy birthday. January SPCL. Is it 1? It's 1 for sure. Alright, cool. Right. Next question. If 350 is shared in the ratio 2 to 5, the smaller share is. Hold on a second. Yeah. Alright, so when we have numbers like this in ratio form, what do we do with the digits? We add them together. 2 plus 5 will give us 7. And then you put each of the numbers over the total, like a common denominator. And then when the smaller share, which one is smaller? 2 sevens or 5 sevens? 2 sevens. So we find 2 sevenths of 350. So 7 will go into 35 5 times. So that's 50. And 2 by 50 is 100. Very good. Alright, who did I vote for election? we are talking politics. Regular maths, I did add maths earlier. What if somebody not open? 40 students in the class. Girls make up 60% and 25% of the girls wear glasses. How many girls in the class wear glasses? Okay, cool. So 25. Okay. up 60% of the class. Alright, so 25 into 100 was 4 times. 4 into 40 was 10 times. 10 into 100 was 10 times, and 10 into 60 was 6 times. So we have 6. Alright. Oh. Evening, Paulina, how are you doing? Zoom out? Yeah, I'll zoom out when I finish, right? So they'll get the rest. Okay, if the universal set U is that, and H is that, okay, so H complement is everything except H. So if you cross out the 3.6, what we have left? 1, 2, and 5. So that's option D. Which of the following statements describes a set of integers greater than -3 but less than 6? Greater than -3, less than 6. And integers, yes, so that's this last piece here. You'll notice it's the same in all of the options, right? That means x, which is the variable, is an element. So the e means is an element of, and z is a set of integers. Right, so the only one that makes, and it says greater than -3, but alright, so that's option D. So it's not option C. Option C will be greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. But they did not say that. Alright? Alright, so one more question on this page and then we'll zoom out and take a recap. Right, if x and y are two finite sets such that the number of elements in x is 9, the number of elements in x intersect y is 4, and the number of elements in x union y is 15, and then n, the number of elements in y, okay. So there's a little formula I can give you here, right? So the number of elements in x union y is the number in x plus the number in y minus the number in the intersection. So x union y is 15. Number in x is 9. Number in y we don't know, and the number in the intersection is 4. Right, so if you simplify on the right hand side, 9 minus 4 is 5, right? So we have 5 plus, well, number of elements in y, and of course, we'll simply subtract 5 from both sides. Well, ask yourself, what plus 5 is 15? And the answer is 10. Okay. Alright. Sorry, difference between finite and infinite. Oh, Riri, evening, how you doing? Hey guys, sorry, when I watch a movie, I gotta watch the comments all the time, so I just have to kind of scroll back. Live streams aren't, that's correct. Okay, oh, here's Logan. 1 second, I'm setting Logan. Alright, hey, good evening, Logan, how you doing? Good to have you on. We're doing Jan 2022, paper 1. We just finished first page, I'm just gonna kind of zoom out. Hold on. Alright, cool. Yeah. So finite and infinite sets. If a set is finite, then it has a countable number of elements. Right? If it's infinite, then it's uncountable. This is AdMath. No, sorry, AdMath was this morning. You can check on my YouTube channel. I did the May 2024 paper 1 and forgot to do number 23. Yeah, but yeah, you can check my YouTube. I did it earlier today. Right, yeah, so the difference between finite and infinite is that infinite has an infinite number of elements, like the number of even numbers, the number of odd numbers, the number of whole numbers, the number of rational numbers, number of irrational numbers, and whatnot. Right, finite, you could say the numbers between 1 and 10, or the even numbers from 1 to 100, that kind of stuff. Right, there is a definite n.
So it was a disjoint set.
When two sets are disjoint, they have no intersection, no common elements. Alright, so this is the zoom out of page 1. So somebody is asking to see the zoom out, so I'll give you a couple of seconds to copy down some stuff. Hey Renee, how are you doing afternoon? I'm watching one of my pictures here. I have some shades on. I look like Masha. to resist. Right, 1 plus. Yeah, boy. YouTube channel, same name, adaptation, deletion. So is CPA worth it? What is CPA? Certified a chartered public accountant? It depends on what you want to do. Sorry, what? Yeah, sure. Paper 1 could be easy to practice. And CIA? Oh, right. So if you are, I really should have asked, I didn't. Right, so how to get merit? I don't know. Score real high. Higher than everybody else. Yeah. I didn't do either of those things, so I can't tell it offhand. Right, okay. Cool. Okay, in class, you have a question? No. You sure? You can half puzzle. What? Number 6. Okay. Right. So there are 40 students in the class. Girls make up 60% of the class. So if you found 60% of 40, right? So you cancel a 0, 6 by 4 is 24, right? So you have 24 girls in class, and out of that, 25% of the girls wear glasses. Make sense now? Yeah? Alright, so the rest of y'all who here, do you guys have any questions on this page, or y'all okay? Good? Alright, okay, so just really, Logan and Marcus, if you guys are good with this page, just kind of give me a quick Genie chat, please and thanks. If you need me to re-explain any, many, or all, give me a R, or give me numbers you want me to re-explain, right? So does multiple choice repeat? Yes, very much so. Cool. Alright.
4 repeats already.
Yeah. Question 1, that was the 8 and the 40 thing. Right, in the Venn diagram, X represents a set of factors of 12, Y represents a set of factors of 9, the shaded region represents the set of all factors of, okay, so check it. X, right? X represents the factors of 12. So what are the numbers that multiply 3 and 12? 1 by 12, 2 by 6, and 3 by 4, right? Y represents the factors of 9. Because there's 1 by 9 and 3 by 3, right? What are the common elements? Because this is the intersection, right? The shaded region. So between 1 and 3. And they're asking the shaded region represents the set of all factors of, and 1 and 3 are the factors of 3. Right? 3 is a prime number. Right. Tyrese and Jody. Yeah, there are some different ones. But you can see quite a bit of it is very similar. Alright, it's the students in teacher May's class have either a dog or a cat, or none of the two. Okay, cool. They have a dog or a cat, or none of the two. All the students who have a cat also have a dog. So all of the students who have a cat also have a dog. Right, so what that means is this. All of the students who have a cat also have a dog. So dog lies inside that, so cat lies inside the number. So you have 12 people here, numbered in the cat. You have 4 here, because 12 and 4 is 16. And then you have, 14 on the outside, because 16 from 13 is 14. Right, so once again, all of these students who have a cat also have a dog. So 12 students have a cat and a dog. 16 have a dog in total, which means out of that 16, 12 of them have cats, which means the remaining 4 only have dogs. And that means that 16, 16 are accounted for, right? Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture, Geo, right? Mackay, I don't know about that statement per se, but that's what we do in John ones as well. I think you should book John and me. If you had a choice and you had to only one book me, for me book John for John. But questions do cross over. Right, which of the following pairs of sets is an example of disjoint sets? So disjoint sets are sets that have no intersection or common elements. So for example, the odd numbers and even numbers. right? But which is exactly option E. There you go. Come on, man. Hit it. Billy, oh Billy. Alright. So that's 10, 11, and 12. So let's zoom out and see if you can see all. Why are you disappearing now? Why? Okay. So that's page 2. Okay. Any questions, comments, queries, anybody, anything? Good? Alright. Alright, so Google Meet. So just Ziri, Liam, Logan, and Marcus. Give me a quick G in the chat if you're good with that, please and thanks. If you need me to re-explain, as usual, give me a R. Okay. Marcus, are we doing very good? Alright, cool. There we go. Alright, next page. This page has 9 questions. Oh yeah, well we saw question 13 already on the main paper. If EC250 is equivalent to US $1 and EC20 in US dollars is, alright, so check it. If EC $2.50 is equivalent to $1 US, right? Okay, so you want to get to 20. So the easiest way to do that is just to divide 20 by 2.5, right? If you're not sure how to get there, then just start to scale up. You say, okay, look, what about if I have $5? Isn't $5 like double 2.5? That'll give me 10, right? Sorry, 2. If I went to $10 now, I would double what I had at 5, right? So that'll be 4. And I could double that again and get 20. So that's not just $8. Yeah. Yeah. Right away you could eliminate C and D. Because if you have to spend $250 EC to get $1 US, you have no way that you're spending 20 and getting 50 or 80. So the options are either A or B.
True.
Right?
True.
At a store, 3 cents. I'm sorry, question? Oh. At a store, 3 cents on every dollar spent is charged as sales tax. How much is paid as sales tax on a costume which costs that? Okay, so 3 cents on every dollar means 3 cents out of every 100 cents, which is essentially 3% also. Alright, so we're going to find 3% of 196. Alright, so check this. If you found 1%, right? That's like saying 196 divided by 100, right? And when we divide by 100, what do we do with the decimal point in the sentence? We shift it to the left 2 spaces, right? 1, 2. So you'd have 1.96. Now that's 1%. How much percent we want? 3, right? So you can multiply that now by 3, right? So 1 by 3 is 3. 9 by 3 is 27. And then 18. So you will get 8, 8, and 5, and then put back the decimal point there. So 588. Okay. Alright, 15. So after this we already 1 quarter the way to paper. The cash, okay, we saw this already a few times, right? In the May papers, right? So those on YouTube who were talking about if May and Jan separate, they're not. There are definitely questions in May and Jan that appear in both papers.
14 was 5.88, right?
14 was 5.88, that's correct. Yeah. We know it can never be COD.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because the tax is less than the cost. And 190 is less, but I mean, oh gosh, 3% of 196 can't be 190.
Yeah.
Right, so C and D are out, so only A and B are viable. Right, the cash price of a television that is $350. When bought on hire, purchase a deposit of how much? $35, followed by 12 monthly payments of $30. So you have 35. 12 by 3 is 36, so you have 360. 35 and 360 is 395. And when you compare it to 350, which is the cash price, we would save $45. If I could redo 14, alright, no problem. Alright, so what I said with 14, guys, is It says here, at a store, 3 cents on every dollar spent is charged as sales tax. Right? So 3 cents out of every dollar is 3 cents out of every 100 cents, which is 3%. And if the costume is 196, they want to know how much is sales tax. So all we have to do is find 3% of 196. Right? So basically what I did was I found, you could do 196 by 3 first. So 196 by 3, right? So 196 is 100 plus 90 plus 6. Multiply each of those things by 3. Three and 270 is 570, 570, 18 is 588. And then we divide by the 100, and you shift this 1.2 spaces to the left, and you get 5.8. Sorry, oh, who's that boy? Oh, here's Q&A. Alright. Hey, Q&A, evening. Glad you can make it on today. How are you?
I'm good.
Alright, glad to hear that. Okay, we're doing the Jan 2022. We now hit question 15. Alright, so you can always watch back the first, hold on, let me tell you. Where is the recording? Yeah, the first, let's say 25 minutes or so, or like from the 5-minute mark to 25 minutes. Alright, so you haven't missed too much. Okay, yeah, no problem, Brandon. Alright, so 16. A company employs 20 persons as gardeners and clerks. The mean daily wage of all the employees is $22.40. Hey JD, how are you doing? Thanks for the share. Right, if each of the 12 gardeners is paid 26 per day, then the daily amount paid to each of the clerks is, okay, so check it. To find out the average of a number, or a set of numbers, sorry, you add up all the numbers and then divide by how many ever numbers there are, right? So you have 20 persons as gardeners. Sorry, 20 persons in total. 12 of them are gardeners, which means 8 of them are clerks. Okay. Each of the gardeners, each of the 12 is paid 26, right? So if you take 26 and multiply by 12, right? So that's 260 plus 52, which is 312. Right? And then, well, we don't know how much the clerks are paid, right? But we know that's how many clerks? There's 8 clerks, right? Right. And we know when we add these two things together, right? To find the total, we can multiply the 20 by 2040. Right? So that's just 448. So therefore, to find the missing figure, right, we simply have to take 448 and minus 312. And that's 136. Alright? But then they're asking us, well, what is the amount paid to each clerk? So then you had to take your 136 and divide it by 8. Now to divide by 8, you can go the long way, you just get 17. Or if you want a shortcut, if you like to divide by 2, just divide by 2 3 times. So 2 into 13 goes 6, remain the 1, 2 into 16 is 8. Divide by 2, 2 into 6 is 3, 2 into 8 is 4. And one more time, that gives us 17. So the answer is 17. Alright, so if you're not too strong dividing by 8, you can divide by 2 3 times. Sorry? To 15? Alright, cool. Okay. Delano invests, what's his name? Delano, right. 5,000 for 2 years in an investment scheme. Well, look at our accounts question. The investment earns compound interest of 8%. Sorry, it's not accounts. It's accounts with simple interest. Anyhow, what will be the amount of Delano's investment at the end of the 2-year period? Okay. So check this, right? Compound interest is not just principal by rate by time. That's not what's going on here, right? So let's put year. We're going to put value at start plus the interest equals value at end. So in year one, Delano invests 5,000, right? Now the interest is 8% per annum. So 8% of that is 400. Sorry. And then 5,000 plus 400 will give us 5,400. Wait, hold on, just now. Yeah. Why did I put a dollar sign? The balance at the end of year one becomes the balance at the start of year two. Now we're going to find 8% of that, which is 432. Again, don't be afraid to come on the side and work it out. Alright, 5 by 8 is 40, 4 by 8 is 32, that sort of stuff. Right, and 5,400 plus 432 is 5832. Right, so compound interest is not simple interest, so do not do principal rate by time all over 100. Right, you have to find the interest every year, add it on to the balance at start, get the balance at end, and then carry that balance at end down to the next year to the next year's balance at start, and then repeat. Right, now the other way you could have done it is to take your, right, the other way to do it is not conducive to not having a calculus. You could take your principal, and you're going to multiply by 1 plus the rate, which in this case is 1.08, and raise that to the number of years. But as you could see, sorry, just my wife just sent me a message here. I was trying to phone. Now is not a good time to malfunction. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, phone malfunction. So that's great. Fantastic. Okay. A car presently valued at $12,000 depreciates at a 10% per annum. What will be the value of the car 1 year later? Right, so depreciation is a decrease in value over time, usually due to wear and tear, but can be due to other factors. Now, because I'm zero, so the depreciation is 1,200, but the value at the start of the next year would be your 12,000 minus your 1,200. So 11,000 minus 200 is 10,800. Alright. A man's basic wage for a 40-hour week is $160. He is paid $5 per hour for overtime. If he works 6.5 hours overtime, then his wage for that week is okay. Cool. So if he works 6.5 hours overtime, then it's 6.5 by 5. So 6 by 5 is 30. A half of 5 is 2.5. So that's going to be $32.50 overtime. And then he's paid $160 for a basic 40-hour work week. So all we have to do is add 160 and 32.50, and we'll get 192.50. Well, the more possible you practice, the more you might see, but I understand what you're saying. Right. So, I mean, the more you practice from different sources, the better, but that might be practical to some people. So, the idea is where you have. If you have the ability to practice from other sources, that's not off syllabus, as it doesn't test stuff off syllabus, then you can use that. Alright, a salesman sells a car for $10,500. If he is paid a commission of 5%, for the first 10,000, 8% in the remainder, then the total commission he receives. Okay, cool. So if we take the total amount for which the car is sold, 10,500, and we split it up into the first 10,000 and the remainder, right? Alright, so 5% of that, and then 8% of the remainder. So the remainder would just be 500, right? Alright, so knock off a couple of zeros here, we'll get $40 here. Knock off a couple of zeros here, you get 500. So 540. Alright guys, so we're about 1/3 of the way through the paper in about 30 minutes, which is not bad. Well, yeah, if you continue the pace, you'll be finished in exactly 90 minutes. Right, Althea normally saves X each month, but in June she saved 4 more than twice her usual amount. 4 more, $4 more. So you're adding 4 to twice the usual amount. So 2x plus 4. Hold up, let's see. This bit had about 9 questions. Alright, in class people, are we okay with this page from 13 to 21? Does anybody have any question on any of them? No? Alright, Google Meet, so this is Yuri, Kiwana, Liam, Logan, Marcus. If you guys are good with that, just give me a quick G in the chat. If you need me to re-explain any, many, or all, give me a R for re-explain and give me the number or numbers. What show is this?
Rick and Morty.
Oh.
That's actually kind of crazy.
I just love it, like, I don't know. I finished my current show, so I really want to put on.
House? What?
I finished House, I watched House 4 times.
I love it crazy too. House long or no, I haven't even. No, I think I finished episode 2. I finished episode 2.
Episode 2?
I was on episode 1.
No, you were. I watched episode 1 with you.
Yeah, I didn't even finish episode 1 yet, so I did. That's okay. I've been busy.
Doing what? What you should be doing too. No, I know you wasn't even that first one.
What you're referring to? What if I was to, I wasn't doing that?
You know that.
Okay.
So I don't want to do it with you.
Have we became?
Alright guys, so okay,
I tell you just not.
alright, so m star n is the root of m cubed minus n squared.
Yeah, I'm wrapped up.
And 5 star 2 would be equal to the square root of 5 cubed minus 2 squared. 125 minus 4, which is 121.
You'll see me though next week.
11.
Yeah, this weekend also.
Hey, Arjun, how you doing? Great, 20, that's correct. Right, item 23 refers to the following diagram of a trapezium. Okay, so we have a trapezium and it says has a height h, has an area of x squared. The equation that may be used to find the value of x is, okay, so the area of a trapezium, so is, how come the man for the page itself? Right. The two yellow sides are the parallel sides. So it's 1/2 of the sum of the parallel sides, which we will call A and B, multiplied by the perpendicular distance between them. So the area is equal to 1/2 A plus B, then multiplied by H. Alright. So we have x squared as the torus. The torus as the area. That's equal to 1/2 multiplied by 2 plus x minus 4, then multiplied by h. Right, now in the brackets, 2 and minus 4 will cancel, or simplify rather, to minus 2. And when you multiply 1/2 by h, you can just get h over 2. And that's option A. Sorry.
So this gives you formula sheet.
Question in finish. Redo 22.
So this gives you formula sheet for
Yeah, it's the formula sheet, yeah. Redo 22. 5 cubed minus 2 squared. 5 cubed is 125, 2 squared is 4, 125 minus 4 is 121. The square root of which is 11. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be good boy. 23. Alright, so let's go over one more time. Right, so with a trapezium, the two sides here are the parallel sides, right? The formula for the area of a trapezium, right, is 1/2 of the sum of the parallels, that's what we're calling them A and B. So 1/2 of A plus B multiplied by the perpendicular distance h or d between them. So the total of the height, sorry, the area is x squared. They told us that, right? So the area is x squared. And as 1/2 multiplied by the 2 plus the x minus 4. Then multiplied by, well, just h, because that's what the height is given as. Okay, so if you want, you can rearrange inside of here. Right, so 2 minus 4 is minus 2, right? And then on the outside, when you're multiplying, you can multiply in any order. That's the commutative property. So you can do 1/2 by h, right? If you do 1/2 by h, it's like multiplying 1 over 2 by h over 1. And when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerators together. 1 by h is h, and then your denominators, 2 by 1 is just 2. So you have h over 2 by x minus 2. Yes, Shugi. Jan 2022. Thank you, Kenya. Slow down. I'll try, but can I just browse it through? Is the cube root? Nope, it's not a cube root. Right? It's m cubed. There's no power in front here. So it's just square root. It's not cube root. In which case, if it was cube root, there would be no answer, because the cube root of 11 is, well, I'll show you. I don't know it offhand. Hold on. 11 to the power of. Oh. Yeah, 2.22. So no, it's not a cube root. Yeah, no worries. Isn't the answer 2 for 22? No, it's not. It's not. Alright, guys. Right. So, minus 2 cubed simply becomes positive 2 cubed. And when you minus 3 cubed from 2 cubed, you just get minus 2. Nah, it's not cube root, guys. Alright, this one, it didn't print properly, so when I say it didn't come on, so I think it's, I don't know if it's an n or 8, so we're just gonna use, we use n, right? I think it's 8, so I think it's n plus 1 multiplied 5 to the n plus 2. Okay, so when you're multiplying, and you have the same base, right? What do we do with the powers, ladies and gents? We add them. So we have n plus 1 plus n plus 2, right? So n plus n is what? 2n, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So we have 5 to the 2n plus 3. Correct, yeah. Very good. Okay. Alright. Yeah, this was the one you thought was a different one.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's take a look here, right? So if we expand using distributive of 5 by y, it's 5y. Or which one? Alright, no problem. Alright. Right, so 5 by y is 5y. 5 by minus 2 is minus 10. Minus 3 by y is minus 3y. Minus 3 by 4 is minus 12. And this is equal to 0, right? So if we rearrange and put the like terms together and put the integers together, 5y minus 3y is 2y. Minus 10 minus 12 is minus 22. Right, and you could add 22 to both sides, or as teachers say, move it across and change the sign, which I don't like to say, but I will. Right, so 2y is equal to 22, and to solve for y, we simply have to divide by 2 on both sides of the equation. And 22 divided by 2 is 11. Cool. Alright, item 27 refers to the following vectors, p and q. Well, I think we've seen this one in almost every table we've done, right? So p minus q would be 3, 7, minus 2, 5. So of course you subtract or operate on the corresponding components, right? Sorry, that's supposed to be a 2. And 7 minus 5. So 3 minus minus 2 is 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. Alright, so 27. Let's just double check. If you want, what you can do, guys, you can always substitute the value back inside. Right? If you put 11 back up inside of here, 11 minus 2 is 9. 5 by 9 is 45. 11 plus 4 is 15. 3 by 15 is 45. And then 45 minus 45 is 0. Alright, so of course, that's one way you could cross check it. Right, so 5, 2 is option C. Okay. Oh, there's one more question. Item 28 refers to the following diagram of a parallelogram in which EF is parallel to HG. So hold on, let's just right, so EF is parallel to HG and EH is parallel to FG. Now EF is equal to K, so the vector to carry you from E to F is given as small k. So that small k is your direction. How do I get from E to F? And going from E to H, that vector is small m. So to go from E to H, you have to use the directions contained in M. EG. Now, before we get to EG, because it is a parallelogram, it means the opposite sides are equal and parallel. Which means that, for example, if EF and HG are parallel and also equal, the vector to go from H to G is also given as small k. And similarly, to go from E to H and F to G, EH and FG, sorry, are parallel and the same magnitude, which means that the vector to go from E to H is the same as for F to G. Right, so that's just because of the properties of a parallelogram. Now, they want EG, so EG goes from E to G. Right, but we do not have a vector, and we can only travel along the lines where there are vectors. Oh, thanks for the GG, thanks very much, right. So to go from E to G, we can go from either E to F and then F to G, or we can go from E to H and H to G. Either way we go, right, so let's put that, so EG is equal to EF plus FG. So go from E to F, that's given by small k, and then FG is small m. And if we use EH to HG, sorry. Alright, so if you went anti-clockwise instead, you have some Wi-Fi problem. Hold on, pressure. Right, and either way you take it, K plus M and M plus K mean the same thing, so that is option A. Alright, cool. Alright, so we're going to scroll out here, zoom out, sorry. So again, that was about 7 questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay. Alright, in class, people, are we okay with the solution on this page? Any questions, anybody, anything? No? Alright, Google Meet, you guys know the drill, right? If you guys are good with that, give me a quick Genie chat, please, and thanks. If you need me to explain anything, let me know. Alright. Give me a R if you need me to re-explain, and give me the question number. Alright, okay. So we're almost halfway through the paper. Alright. If 5 by xy is equal to 4 by 10, 20, the values of x and y, well that's interesting. So if we explore this one here, 4 by 10 is what? 40. 4 by 20 is 80. So to multiply 5 by x and get 40, so 5x is equal to 40. So x has to be what? 40 divided by 5, which is 8, and there's only one answer with 8. You can double check if you want. If 5 by y is 80, 80 divided by 5 is 16. Alright, sorry, you streaming paper ones, that's right. Brandon, yeah, every evening, 6:30 to 8:30. Right, matrix product. Okay, so we're gonna multiply. Alright, so we're doing a 3 by 2 by a 2 by 3. We have 2 by 3 and a 3 by 2. So yeah, these matrices are compatible for multiplication, and you can multiply A by B or B by A, but they want AB, right? So we are doing this whole first row by this whole first column, and then again for the second. So let's go. So we have 1, so this 1 by this 3 here. So 1 by 3 plus 3 by 2 plus minus 3 by 0. And now we're going to repeat using the second column. 1 by 0, well that's just 0, right? 3 by 1, that's 3. Minus 3 by 5 is minus 50. Right, so this is 3 plus 6 plus 0, that's 9, which is minus 12. Right, so that's it. So 9 and minus 12 are the top two elements, which corresponds only to that matrix thus far. agree, Kenya. Some questions here take way too long. 55 and I come for one. Wow, actually that's pretty good. Right. So yeah, so we don't have to work on the other stuff, but if you want to see it, right, and leave this row by this column, the 3 by 3 is 9, 0 by anything by 0 is 0, right? So again, you can control the second line going on right here. And if you want to be very particular about it, you can do the second row by the second column. So again, 3 by 0 is 0, 0 by n is 0, and 5 by is 25. Right, so yeah, so I think we are more than convinced that the correct option here is if it took a speedboat 9 hours to travel a distance of 1,080 kilometers, what was its average speed? Total distance divided by total time taken. 9 into 108 is 12, and you'll bring 0. The average speed is 120 kilometers per hour. Alright, so we just passed the halfway mark. I think we're making some good time there. Identity refers to the following diagram of a trapezium. The perimeter, so the perimeter is the total distance around the edge. So you simply have to add up all of these things, also. So that's 0.3.7.92. Alright, so you add up 0.12, 0.18, 0.21, 0.41. 12. Right, carry 1. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 2 is 5 and 4 is 9. Sorry. Yeah.
Should we do water?
It does not have that.
Yes, they mix it up with the iron or zero answer.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Abdullah Mandu, you're welcome. Yo. Ah, there you go. We didn't read. So there is an answer.
You just pissed me off.
Wow, thank you, Naima. So we have to multiply this by how much? 1,000. Because these are meters and they want the answer in millimeters. Wow. So you shift this 1, 2, 3 spaces, so the answer actually is 920. Wow. Well, I would have got that wrong.
For sure.
Ashiba, yeah. Shy pretty, very good. You guys, so see, you guys are better than me today, right? Hey boy. Yeah. So yeah, that my mistake be your lesson, right? Read question carefully. Don't jump to say it's a mistake. Read it carefully. All right. If the circumference of the circle is 15 and the length of the minor arc, okay, check this. The circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. That's so.
Yes.
If they want the length of the minor arc, that is based on the angle in the sector. What is the total degrees in a circle? 360. Screen froze. Hold on. Let me see. I don't think it's going well to me. Right. Sorry. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I now saw something. Okay, cool. That's good enough. Hey, looks good. Can you wait? Yeah, 360. Right. So if your angle in your sector is 120 and you put it over 360, that's the fraction of the whole and you multiply it by 50. So that's option B. Alright. Okay. Alright, in class people, are we okay with questions 29 to 33? Have you any questions that need pausing issues? No, Khalifa, we good? Obviously good. Yeah, alright, cool. I wasn't an option, but alright. Alright. And my friends on Google Meet here, right? So just Ziri, Q, and Liam, Logan, and Marcus. Just give me a quick G in the chat if you're good with that. If you need me to re-explain, give me a R. And then give me the letter. Right? Or you could always PM me on WhatsApp. Hold on. Alright, Brandon, you understand? I'm glad to hear that, man. R is 33. I mean, re-explain 33? Alright. Right, so what they're telling us here is that the circumference, hold on, sorry, I have to switch my pen. The circumference of the circle is 50. So that the circumference is the total distance around the circle, okay? They want to know the length of the minor arc A. So the minor arc is a piece of the whole circumference. A piece is a fraction. And the fraction can be given by the angle in the sector divided by the total number of views in a circle. So that's one thing. Right? But that was not one of the ways they expressed the answer. Right? 31 should be times 100. What's that in millimeters? Nah, that's if it was centimeters. Right? They gave us the dimensions in meters and they wanted it in millimeters. Right? So there are 1,000 millimeters in every meter. Right? So for every meter you have 1,000. Nah, it's 1,000. I can guarantee that. If it was going to centimeters, you multiply 100. Right? And you can check it on the one. And you got to ask ChatGPT. But yeah, it's 1,000. Okay. What am I just page with? It's just going to delivery. Okay. Now hold on. Can I shrink this page? Okay. Alright, that's a little better. Okay, there we go. Alright, an aircraft leaves. Alright, oh, it's 2024. Oh, you're watching wrong? Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get it in 2 days. Right, an aircraft leaves A at 1600 hours and arrives at B 1930, traveling at an average speed of 550 kilometers per hour. A and B are in the same time zone. The distance from A to B is, okay, so as we know, the formula connecting these things is that average speed is total distance traveled divided by total time taken. So therefore, if you want to solve for D, you'd multiply by T, so distance is speed by time. Now, if you left at 1600 and got there at 1930, that's 3 hours and 30 minutes, just 3.5 hours. So you multiply that by 550. So 550 multiplied by 3.5. 550 by 3, 0, 15 carry the 1, 15 plus the 1, that's 1650. Right? And clearly 0.5 of that is like 275. We gotta add. So we get 5291. Alright. 33 is B. Oh, you see? Yeah, 33 is B. Very good. That Arjun. Alright, going down. Item 35 refers to the following diagram, which shows a circle with center O, a sector, and major and minor arcs indicate. Okay, the length of the major arc is 40 centimeters. The major arc, ladies and gents, is the larger arc, which actually goes, basically it's a kind of broken line going around. Alright? The larger arc is 40. What is the circumference of the circle? Okay. The angle that they gave us is 60 degrees, but that's for the minor sector. The total degrees in a circle is 360, which means this angle here is 300. Alright. Now check this. If you take 60 and divide it by 300, you get 1/5. So if we were to find 1/5 of 40, we would get 8 centimeters. Oh, this one, the physics class finished. Let me just let them know, right? Alright, okay, so that's for tomorrow for math, right?
Yeah.
So we'll come with a one or two topics or a few. Alright, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, there's that. Bye bye. Right, now if 8 centimeters represents this portion here, right? And if you put the 60 over 360, we get 1/6.
Chris, how long is the office on?
90 minutes or 1 hour. Right. So if this 8 centimeters is simply 1/6 of the whole, to find the whole, you can simply multiply 8 by 6. Because there's 6 of those pieces you would need to make up a whole. And that is 48 centimeters. 35B, right. Do I have an English? I have a friend who does it. I just don't know if she does lessons or she doesn't know why you need multiple choice. Alright. I'll see if I can figure it out. Item 36 refers to the whole is 40. Very good. Why did I divide 60 by 3? I did that, comma, to find the relative length of the minor arc to the major arc. Right? Please convince her, I'll try. I know she's very busy. Yeah, so what I did is I found what fraction the smaller arc was of the bigger arc. Because it was easier for me to scale up the smaller one to the whole circle than it was to the bigger. You could do the bigger one. I just wanted it easier to scale up the smaller one. How long it start? About an hour on Richard. But it's you can always rewind the whole thing. Richard, Mirage. Sorry. Miss Sutani, how are you doing? Right. Okay. Right, item 36 refers to the following. Oh, how was it? Hang on. I thought it did. Yeah, come on, no problem. Okay, the volume of a cuboid is 320 cubic centimeters and the height is 5. If the cuboid is a square base, what is the length of one side of that base? Alright, check it. So what it's saying is that the base, so this piece down here, so these two, right, let's just call it S, right? Alright, so the volume is 5 by S. Okay, maybe not side. Maybe L for length, B. Let's do B for base, right? So 5 by B. Alright. And the volume is 320, right? So that's 5 by B squared. Right, so what we could do is we could divide by 5 on both sides to start. 5 into 32 was 6 times remainder 2, and 5 into 20 was 4 times. And if B squared is 64, to find B, we simply have to square root 64. And we'll get 8. Yo. For sure. Well, the bottom and the top. It just doesn't look like that. They say a square base. So you have a square and you basically went up 5 centimeters. Right? So the base is a square, but the height is not the same length as the dimensions on the base. So it does end up being a cuboid, but a cuboid where 2 of the dimensions are the same length. Okay, the area of a triangle is 60 centimeters squared, and its base is 12. What is its perpendicular height? Okay, so the area of a triangle is base by height divided by 2. They've given us that the area is 60, its base is 12. We do not know the height, but we could say 2 into 12 goes how many times? 6, right? So 60 is equal to 6h, and therefore to find the h, we could simply divide by 6 and get 10.
So you gotta run down.
Alright, hold on. Yeah? So the area of the triangle is 60 square centimeters, right? The area of a triangle is base pi is over 2.
Yeah.
Right, so 60. And the base is 12. So 60 is 12 by h all over 2. Right? Alright, David, I'll see you Wednesday, right? Alright, cool. Okay, so 2 goes into 12 6 times, right? 6 by h is 6h, yeah? So 6 is equal to 6h. So to solve for h, we simply divide by 6 on both sides. And 6 divided by 6 is 10. Yeah? Alright, cool. Alright. Rainy, yeah. Okay, okay. Alright, 38. A square has the same area sorry, as a rectangle with sides 9 and 16. What is the length of the side of the square? Okay. Alright, so 9 by 16 is equal to 144 square centimeters. And they also told us that the square has the same area as the rectangle. Now the area of a square is side by side, which is side squared. And if side squared is 144, to solve for side is simply have to find the square root of 144, which is 12. Alright. R38. Alright, cool. So let's recap that one real quick. A square has the same area as a rectangle with side lengths of 9 by 60. Area of a rectangle is length by breadth. 9 by 16 is 144. Right? Again, if you want to do 16 by 9, you can pull apart 16 into 10 plus 6. And then multiply each of those by 9. 10 by 9 is 90. 6 by 9 is 54. And then you just add. 0 and 4 is 4, 9 and 5 is 144. Shy pretty. Tonight, yeah. Tonight is one paper a day. Yeah, so today is Jan 2022. Tomorrow is Jan 23. Wednesday is Jan 24. And Thursday is Jan 25. It's mad. Yes, this is CXC months, correct? Okay. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I have to come find it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay, don't worry, no. I was just saying that, we just walk, he goes, they go, just who? Right.
That's good.
And I was saying that we know the marks not really that great. Yeah. I had a new thing, we boys started to do. Yeah. And the whole, huh? And on the August, yeah. You have anybody? Yeah, somebody who wanna come out? Yeah?
She just finished.
I don't know.
I don't know who by my name. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay.
I kept just reading.
When do you wanna start?
She just told me. But I'm passing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can find out
Let's
while like
let's set something up now for next week when all the form five is on. And
It is
you can see
Yeah,
because I have
actually.
quite a few new ones who want to start.
Wait,
All of them seem like
it's
need
not sweet.
real close
Grandpa
attention.
is not something that because
But like I said, I'm playing with the idea of doing some slightly longer
it
classes
looks like that.
online only. I will give it a moderator. So that might be something she could do.
Yeah, she did.
See if she would have said yes or no. And she said,
Yeah, for sure.
I got more I know it. I don't have to deal with them. I have to tell them.
Alright, cool.
do you know to do
Yeah.
that?
Okay. But I can run a pause on it. Pause, you know?
Yeah, do it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool.
No.
Alright.
What if you didn't know why I was running? That's it for my technique. That's it. That's it. Good. That's it.
Sounds good? Okay. Yeah, please. Please. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Dread.
You know that tongue they used for smelling, right?
I've never heard
When their tongues come out,
Serious.
I'm so serious.
That's true.
When their tongues come out,
I'm
it's
not-
not
I-
their
I'm
voice,
not-
it's like you know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
But I didn't.
anyway, you want me to do the
I think this is all kinds of stuff which you want to do too. Before the exam.
Yeah, that was okay. I was really curious. Then again, Aiden's never seen a mosquito
Yeah.
for a while. Like, unless you go to the beach or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they smell you, when their tongue sticks out, they're smelling you. They don't, they smell
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah, I get that, you know, so from September she might be doing PU with me and Mark.
That is how the
You
Venn
know, one of the
is
days,
that
she should do PU Monday, Wednesday, and like, my after
A
Mark
snake cannot take off your finger.
So okay, go.
Alright,
A
later.
snake cannot take
Don't
off
think
your
about
finger.
it.
Not like.
They have a nose for no reason.
Alright.
Really, have a nose.
Hey guys,
they have a
sorry.
nose for no reason.
They smell.
DAE, I did the May papers last week, 2021 to 2024. Today we started Jan, this is 2022, and we're going every day till Thursday, and in order, 2022 to 2025. Should I proceed to keep accounts? Yeah, okay, cool. Richard, yes, every day. Right guys, sorry, one of the teachers who works here was just telling me some information. I had to,
They punished Eve with the apple. That's why.
what's the word? I forget the words. Right, sorry, so 9 by 16 is 140, right. Now the area of the square has the same area as the rectangle, right? So the area here is 144. And we know the area of a square is side by side, which is side square, as 144.
No, that's why.
And to find the, to undo the square, you have to find the square root. That's 12.
That's why I made it in Bible.
Okay. Right, so I hope that helps. I missed 4 years of papers. Kenya, check my YouTube. They're there still. They'll be there till Tuesday. You might find some more there, like 2012 to 2019. I think, I'm not sure. Alright, okay, in classical, sorry about that. Are you guys okay with this page?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk to them.
Find more than one person.
You okay? You sure? Oh, you're tired? Oh, yeah. Alright. Google Meet. Give me a quick Gina. Just Yuri, Kiona, Liam, Logan, and Marcus. If you guys are good, cool. If not, give me a R and give me the number or numbers, right? 33? 33?
You did the whole of this.
Right. The whole circumference is 15. That's the whole thing. Right? The length of the minor arc. The minor arc was right here. That's a piece. It's a piece of the whole. Right? A piece of the whole is a fraction. To get what the fraction is, you simply put the angle in the sector over the total degrees in a circle. That's 120, which is 60. Right? So it will be 1/3 of the whole, 1/3 of 15. So that's this. 1 over 122 over 360 multiplied by 50. Right? Brandon. Yeah. And pretty good. guys, give me.
Finish halfway through. Right now. Oh, okay, man.
It's good to be precise.
Okay. Items 39 and 40 refer to every day at 6:30, Chantal. Yeah, 6:30, Chantal. Right, item 39 and 40 refer to the following frequency distribution, which shows the average mass in kilograms of a group of children in a school. Okay, so we have what we call here grouped data. Each of these is called a class interval. The smaller number is called the lower class limit. The larger number is known as an upper class limit. Now the upper limit of the modal class. The modal class is the class with the highest frequency. What's the highest number in that row? 40. And the upper limit of that interval is 60. Is Philip giving trouble? Yeah, again, yeah, Philip. Yeah. Philip is losing from time to time. More often than not.
I don't know.
Right. How many children have a mass greater than 40 kilograms? Okay. Right. So the mass is on top of here, right? So greater than 40 means 41 and up. So that's 24 plus 40 plus 18. That's 64 and 18 is 82.
I know this one. I know this one.
Item 41 refers to the following table. So we 2/3 of the way through the paper, guys. So we just have 20 more to go. Alright. Yeah, June, very good. Right, so item 41 refers to the following table, which shows the frequency of scores obtained by students on a test. The modal score. So again, the modal score is the score with the highest frequency. But instead of putting the word frequency, they put students. Right, and the highest number in that row is 12, which corresponds to 8. Yes, I see most of you all saying they're very good. Yeah, there you go. Yep, there you go, Right, well that's it for this page, alright, so ladies and gents in class, are you okay with the solutions here? Yeah. That's right, Google Meet, right, so just Ziri, Liam, Logan, Kiona, Marcus, let me know. Right. Okay, explain 41. They want the modal score, which is just the mode, right? Right? So these are the scores, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 11. And these are the number of students who need those scores. Right? The mode is the score obtained by the highest number of students. The highest number in the students row is 12. And the score obtained by those 12 students is 8. So that's why it's the modal score. Most frequent score. Taj, that's correct, very good. Okay. 42 of our whole page, boy. Item 42 refers to the following diagram of a CF curve which shows the marks obtained by 200 students on a test. Okay? The median of the marks scored, or the median mark. Okay. So to find the median mark, we have to find as the mark obtained by the student halfway. There are 200 students, which means that the 100th student, right, is the median. So we're going to read across what we're going on here. Hold on, sorry, give me a sec. Why I don't want to think? Alright. Alright, so on your vertical axis, you have the students, right? Now we notice from here to here, it's 10 little blocks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that covers 40 students. So each block covers 4 students, all right? So they want the 100, the median. The median is the mark scored by the 100th student in this case. Because 100 is simply half of 200. Median is half, right? So with halfway between 80 and 120, you'll find the 100th student. If you read across from there until they hit the curve, From there you read down.
That is true.
Right? So from 30 to 40, that's 10, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so it was between 37 and 38, so that's 37.5, right? Lexi. Yeah, Lexi, I agree. We did it before. Yeah, so that's a whole page for one question, right? That's a real expensive question. Space-wise. I'll go more to that way. Now. Okay.
I don't think so, yeah.
Alright, so
Right.
item 43 refers to the following bar chart which shows the ages of children who took part in a survey. How many children took part in the survey? Okay, so we have on the horizontal axis the ages of the kids, right? On the vertical axis we have how many kids were each of those ages. So for 4, we have 3, so 4 years old, you had 3 kids who were 4 years old. For 5 years old, you had 4 kids there. For 6 years old, you had 2 kids. For 7, you had 5 kids. And for 8, you had 1 kid. So the total number of kids was the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is 15. So 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1.
It's paper ones.
That's correct, yeah, B.
G. Yeah, boy.
600 students write an examination. The probability of a randomly selected student failing the exam is 1/5. How many students are expected to pass? Right, so if 1/5 going to fail, it means that 4/5 is going to pass. So we simply have to find 4/5 of 600. 5 are going to 600, 120 times 4 by 120 is 450.
It was low. That's kind of crazy. I don't know why. No, I'm not. I don't like these last page. These last pages also. No. So I'm gonna wait until Chris. No. No. This is my learning. Yeah. I need to repeat questions. Huh? Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'll go over this. Might be slow. Slow and fun. I didn't understand.
Alright, hold on.
Or
Explain 44 again.
animated thing.
Alright. The mental calculation. Right, yeah, it can be. So you had to write it down. Space at a premium. Okay. So 600 students wrote the exam. The probability of a randomly selected student failing is 1/5. How many students are to pass? So if the probability of fail is 1/5, the probability of pass is 4/5. And to find the number of students that corresponds to is 4/5 of the 600, which is 480.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Should be fine.
Which of the following equations represent a linear function? C.
Yes.
Anytime you see x squared, right, we know it's a quadratic. X by y is also a curve. Because when you make y the subject, you get 4 over x. And that's 4 by x to the minus 1, and that's already a curve. How I get the 4/5? Okay. So if 1/5 of the people fail, the remainder, as in everybody else, will pass, right? So 1/5 is 1 out of 5. And a whole will be 5 of those, right? So 5/5 is a whole. And if 1/5 going to fail, the remainder going to pass, and that's 4/5. Alright? 45 confusing? Right. So a linear function is one that gives a straight line. Right? And it can be expressed in the form y equal to m by x plus c. Right? And the highest power of x in a linear function is 1. And it's not being multiplied by y or divided by y, etc. Alright? Well, technically it could divide y by it, but right, definition, no problem. Right, Richard, 45, oh sorry, yeah, I was trying to do 45 here. Right, so this one here, we could express this in the form y equal to m by x plus c, where m is the gradient. Just simply carry across that 3 and subtract it. What is that, your prefrontal cortex?
Yeah.
By 25, it's supposed to be 45.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
Is
Right, 46. A set of ordered pairs below represents a relation that is a function. Which of the following points, when added to the set, would form a relation that is not a function? Good. Here are the answers. Alright. A function is a relation that is either 1 to 1 or many to 1. Alright? So anytime you have a 1 to many or a many to many, that means it's a relation but not a function. So for example, if we had these kind of diagrams, right? Right, so yeah. So if you had like a 1, 2, 3, and I had like a 4, 5, 6. If it was like 1 to 1, like that, that's a function, right? As a relation, it's a function. If, however, you had like this, right, then you have a 1 to many. Right, so like here, you would have many to many. Right? So, all we're going to do is look for one where we have an x coordinate that is repeated from the above set. And that is option A. Right, so option A means that 2 is mapped onto 7 as well as 8, which means it's from 1 to many values in the range. Yeah. Item 47 refers to the following arrow. Okay, looks like this one here, right? This one here. This 8 goes to a 2 and a 4. So in that case, it's a 1 to many function. Right? Even though 9 goes to 3, right? And 10 goes to 2. So in that case, you actually have one element here mapping onto 2. Right? Which again is a 1 to many. So that means it's not a function. And you also have 2 different ones mapping onto this, which is a many to 1. Right? But the fact, the mere presence of a 1 to many kind of overrules it. Right? So in this case here, the arrow diagram above describes the relation with y is more than x, y is a multiple of x, y is a factor of x. Yeah, that's it, y is a factor of x. Right? Because 8 could divide into 2 and 4, 9 could divide into 3, and 10 could divide into 2, but not the others. Right, so yeah. Multiple is when it would be like in the times tables. If you were to switch where x and y rule, then you could say that like you'll map 2 onto 8 and 10, because 8 and 10 are multiples of 2.
I read it wrong, but yes.
I don't like this thing. I don't know why.
Because there's so much sense on
They all have so much sense. It's not even a sense.
Yes,
It's just
what she
something
says.
in my brain.
It's always the
So
same.
it's
sense on
It's
the
always the
thing.
same.
Yeah, I kinda.
Jay doesn't like me with the oil, so-
Okay. Let me go up to 50. I'll get some water. Alright, Google Meet. Alright, so Jaziri, Logan, okay, Jaziri gone. Akiona gone too. Alright, so just Liam, Logan, and Marcus left. Alright. Guys, give me up with G. Yeah, I kinda running out steam here. I'm myself tired. But we have like 30 more to go, so I think we could stick it out.
With every class is 6:50.
Yeah.
Even Thursday.
Yeah. Because I have a 4 to 6 every day.
When do they exams start?
2 weeks. Fatima starts next week. Thursday. Yeah. Repeat 46. Right. For it to be not a function, it has to be many, like a one to many or a many to many, right? Keep. For it to be like a, okay, so let me try to read that.
Yes.
So check it. If you have like 3 elements here, and 3 elements here, if you were to map just each one to each one, that's a one-to-one relation, right? A one-to-one relation is a function. Even if we did like something like this, right? Like a many to one, that's also a function. So for it to be not a function, it either has to be one to many, right? Or many to many, in which case, yeah, the many to many gets a bit confusing, right? But basically, elements in the domain would map onto one and only one element in the range, right? The domain being the x's and the range being the y's. So what we're saying is that, right, so like, okay, so like you have a 2 here. Oh. So 2 minus 4 and 10. 4, 6, 7, 8. So right now we have 2 to 7, minus 1 to 6, and 10 to 4. So that's a one-to-one. That's a function. Right? If we do 2 to 8, we have one element mapping onto many in the domain. Right? Many to 1. A many to 1. Okay. So let's say that y is a multiple of x, right? So 6 is a multiple of 1, a multiple of 2, and a multiple of 3. Right? Because 2, the same element, the same x value maps onto more than one y value. That's why. This is a many, this is one to many. One value in x maps onto many values in y. Alright guys, we're almost out of time, so we had to kind of press on here, right? Alright, so let's take a look at 48. What is the gradient of the straight line? Okay, so to find the gradient here, we can convert it to the gradient intercept formula, which is y equal to mx plus c. So right now, it's 2y equal to minus 3x minus 8. Now for m to be the gradient, the coefficient of y has to be 1. Is it currently 1? No, it's 2. How is it 2 attached to the y? Multiplication. How do we remove something attached to multiplication? We divide. We have to divide everything by 2. If we divide by 2 here, we get that. Divide by 2 here. Minus 3 over 2. 47 is D. 47. Wait, hold on. Oh shit, no. 47 isn't C, guys, I was wrong. It's D. 47 is D.
What?
X is a multiple.
No, it doesn't guess what he's talking about.
Look at 8. 8 is a multiple of 2 and 4. 2 by 4 is 8, 4 by 2 is 8. 8 is the multiple of 2 and 4. 9 is a multiple of 3. If it was a factor, you can multiply that to get the other one. 3 is a factor of 9. You can multiply 3 by 3 to get 9. 8 is a factor of, 2 is a factor of 8. You can multiply 2 by 4 to get 8. Alright? 2 is also a factor of 10. 2 by 5 is 10. So if something is a factor of another number, you can multiply this by something to get the other number. Alright? So 47 is, X is a multiple of 1. I read it wrong. I thought it said Y is a factor of X. If it said Y is a factor of X, then yeah, that'd be correct, but it's not. Unfortunately. Ripping your skull. Yeah, Ken, yeah, sorry about that. There you go. I'm a little tired today, so not operating at 100. So yeah. Last thing, listen, get some rest. Alright. Alright, so we've seen this one already. H of minus 6, right? So you have 3 by minus 6, then minus 2 all over 5, right? 3 as minus 18 and minus 2 over 5 as minus 20 over 5, which is minus 4. Right. The range of f of x is x squared. Is x squared this time, huh? Right, so if you square each of these, so minus 2 squared is 4, minus 1 squared is 1, 0 squared is 0, 1 squared is 1 squared. So, range of that function for 1 and 0. No. Look at that. What was that in front of the x? A minus sign. Wow. So you had a minus. Yeah, guys. So when you're sleepy, just do read properly. Yeah, look. It's a big minus and in front of the x squared. Oh, okay. No, it's not. No, 0 squared is just 0.
Wait.
Right, if you had a bracket around that, yeah. But you're minusing x squared here. And if you follow bomb dash or bomb math, right? Raising to the power happens before subtraction. Right, so minus 4, minus 1 and 0. No, minus 4, minus 1. Look, this is a minus here, and this is a minus here. When you square something, you get a positive value, right? The option is B. Look, minus 4 and minus 4 are the same. You don't double count it. Minus 1 and minus 1 are the same. You don't double count it. So it is Arjun, yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, Arjun is why we went back and we fixed the other one, eh? Yeah, guys, I agree. Khalifa, Kenya say I agree nonsense. There's a real story. It's my fault. I'm tired. I should have rested more before I did this class. But I I just didn't have that privilege.
Alright,
Alright, let me see if we can finish off strong. 10 more questions to go. Let me see if we can just organize, right? Right, a line L is parallel to the line 2x minus 5y minus. Okay, what is the gradient? Alright, so again, we have to put it in the form y equal to mx plus c, right? So we can, let's carry across the minus 5 now. So then you will get 2x minus 8 is equal to 5y. But you get that as 5y equal to 2x minus 8, and then we can divide by 5 on both sides of the equation. And that's the gradient there, right? And it's parallel, and parallel lines have the same gradient. Brandon, yeah, it's understood, long time. After I finish this, I'll go with the kids. So, yeah, sleep might come over half the next 3 hours for me. And then it's up at 5:30 to do it all again.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
So
Huh? 250, yeah. The values of x at the points where that intersects y equal to 0. Right, so normally you have a diagram for this. Okay, so if y is equal to that and y is equal to 0, we have to let 4x minus x squared equal to 0. You can factorize using x as the common factor and get 4 minus x. Now here, you're multiplying two things to get 0. The only way to multiply and get 0 is to multiply by 0. So either x equal to 0 or 4 minus x is 0. In which case 4 is equal to x. So you have 0 and 4. Translation. What is the translation vector? Okay, so check it. To go from 2 to 4, you have to increase by 2. To go from 5 to 6, you have to increase by 1. That's option B. Let's double check. To go from 5 to 7, that's an increase of 2. From 7 to 8, that's an increase of 1. So 2, 1. 2 on the horizontal, 1 on the vertical. Alright. 52. Alright, Liam, Logan, Marcus, yeah. Yeah, guys, sorry, I kind of sleepy today, so things are running that smooth. But just give me a quick G figure with this page now, please and thanks. Alright, cool. Alright, there we go. Item 54 refers to the following transversal diagram in which PQ and RS are parallel. So PQ and RS are parallel. They were transversal. That does not show up at all. So let's see if we can increase the weight on that line. Alright, which of the following statements best describes the relationship? They're equal. Right? They're equal. Because it's Z angles, right? You follow your Z, right? They're alternating angles. So P is equal to Q. Alright. A ship sailed 8 kilometers due east from A to B. It then sails 6 kilometers due north to C. Okay, so we have A here. That's north, that's south, that's west, that's east. So it sailed 8 kilometers due east from A to B, right? And then 6 kilometers due north to C. So that's what we're looking for. So that's option C, right? Alright, Taj, sorry. Question never mind? Okay. Alternate angles, or Z angles, yeah, that's correct. Alright, cool. Before 8, yeah. Alright, Liam, Logan, and Marcus, let's give a quick G if you're good with this page. Alright, thank you.
Was it your friend again? I bet you. Just asking. Because nobody's location is updated, so I was confused.
We have a shy pretty and a shy pretty too. Is that the same person? Okay. Alright, then again. Okay, item 56 refers to the following diagram of a circle. Okay, so we have the kind of Star Trek thingy. We used to call it the arrowhead diagram. So the angle at center is double the angle at circumference. So y is, if O is the center of the circle, then y is equal to 2 times 50. Right, angle at center is double the angle at circumference. If line yx is rotated anti-clockwise about O through 90 degrees, right, that's where it's going to end up. 90. Right, and that is y is equal to minus x. So that's option A. Yeah, 56D, 57E, very good. In triangle ABC, angle A is x degrees, angle B is 2x. What is the size of angle C? In a triangle, what is the sum of all the interior angles? 180 degrees. And if we have the other two angles, what would we do to solve for the third unknown angle? We add up the two we have and subtract from 180. And it so happens that x plus 2x is 3x. Very good, guys. Sorry. Item 59 refers to the following diagram, which shows the angle of depression at a point x from Z is 35. Now, the horizontal line of sight is parallel to the ground, which makes a Z angle present, and this angle here 35 degrees, right? If x is 12 meters from y, x is 12 meters from y, the height yz in meters is, okay, so relative to the 35 degree angle, that side across there is opposite. The side opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse, which makes this side on here adjacent. So we're looking for opposite. We have adjacent, which means we're using tan. So tan, the tangent of 35 is equal to the length of the opposite, the ratio of the opposite length to the adjacent, which is xy, which is 12. And then we multiply by 12 on both sides. Right, or 12 by tan 35. Right, we didn't need to do all that. Once we acknowledge, hey, I'm looking for the opposite side, I have to do this. I need tan, there's only one option here with tan. But it might be helpful to work on the whole thing. O over A, yeah, opposite over adjacent, that's tan, that's correct, yeah. 38, oh, 58 is D. Alright guys, Liam, Logan, Marcus, just give me a quick G if you guys give me this page. In class, people, are we okay with this page, 56 to 59?
Wow, yes, sir.
Alright, cool. Any questions, anybody, anything?
No. That walked in there already.
Type 4 is COA and then
So,
tan.
it's S-O-A.
4
Which trigonometric ratio is 4? 8 as sin x. So 4 over 8, so relative to the angle, sorry, this side here, the 8, is the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. The 4 is adjacent to the y, but opposite to the x. The sine of the angle is equal to the ratio of the opposite length to the hypotenuse. Let's now hold on. One question. Adana. Oh, it does know if it's sine, cosine, sine. Okay, cool. Right. So your three basic trig ratios are the sine of the angle is the ratio of the opposite length to the hypotenuse. Right. So sine of x would have been 4, right? More 1 second. So 8 squared minus 4 squared is 12 by 4 squared. So this side here is approximately 7, right? Now relative to x, this would be the adjacent side. Right? The cosine of x in this case would have been the adjacent side to the hypotenuse. That would have been 7 over 8. And tan is the ratio of the opposite side to the adjacent side. And that would have been, in this case, 4 over 7. Right? Okay. Let's see 58. I just hold on. 58.
It's like a cool house.
Alright. Alright, let's see. Alright, we're done. Alright, folks, that's about it for today. Thanks for joining. I'll see if I have more energy tomorrow. There, guys. So we'll be back on at 6:30 tomorrow evening. Not in the morning. I will be probably trying to leave home to drop the kids to school. Alright, so tomorrow we're doing Jan 2023, to Wednesday Jan 2024, and Thursday Jan 2025, and then that will be it. Thank you, PJ. Of course. Yeah. One of in a long time, yeah.
Wow.
Since pandemic, or since before pandemic. Pre-pandemic was a whole different ball game. You know. All right. Thanks for all the follows, guys. All right. Liam, Logan, Marcus, that's about it for today. If you guys have any questions you get to ask during class, please feel free to WhatsApp me, right? Go on now, later.